As the years pass, many of us find ourselves grappling with the complexities of aging. It's not just about the physical changes, the graying hair, the deepening laugh lines, or the occasional ache that wasn't there before. The hardest part of getting older often lies deeper in the emotional and psychological shifts that come with the passage of time. From countless discussions in major online forums, it's clear that people of all ages are wrestling with similar challenges. Whether it's the sense of losing some of the connections we've held dear, or the shifting sense of purpose that comes with the passing of years, these feelings can weigh heavily. But if you're feeling this way, you're not alone. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism can offer a powerful perspective. Stoicism teaches us that we may not control the passage of time or the changes it brings, but we can control how we respond. Aging, in its essence, is not something to resist or dread, but to embrace. It is a time to reflect on what we can still contribute to the world and how we can grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Every gray hair and every wrinkle is a reminder of the strength we've gained through experience and the lessons life has given us. Instead of mourning the things we lose over time, Stoicism encourages us to find gratitude in what we still have: our wisdom, our resilience, and the opportunity to shape the years we have ahead of us. By focusing on what is within our control, we empower ourselves to live fully, regardless of the changes that come with aging. So, as we navigate these challenges together, remember, aging is not an end, but a new chapter full of potential and growth. Let's embrace it with grace and a sense of purpose, knowing that we are stronger and wiser for all that we've experienced. If you found this message inspiring or helpful, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Stoic Rise Up for more content that will motivate and uplift you. Together, we'll rise above the challenges of aging and continue to thrive. Thank you for watching. Number 1. Facing the reality of time and mortality. One of the most profound realizations that come with aging is the awareness of time's relentless march forward. In our youth, time feels infinite, with dreams and plans stretching out endlessly before us. But as we age, our perception of time shifts. Days, months, and years seem to pass more quickly, and the realization that life is finite becomes more pronounced. Many people express a sense of urgency, a growing feeling that they need to accomplish everything before it's too late. This can lead to anxiety or even a midlife crisis, where people reassess their life choices, often with a mix of regret and hope. But here's the truth. While it's natural to feel the weight of time, it's equally important to remember that each stage of life brings new opportunities. I recall a story shared by a man in his late 50s on Reddit. He spoke about how he always dreamed of traveling the world. But life, work, raising a family, and financial constraints seemed to stand in the way. Now, with his children grown and retirement on the horizon, he's finally planning those long-desired trips. His story is a powerful reminder that while time may feel more limited, it's never too late to pursue our passions. The Stoic philosophy teaches us to recognize the fleeting nature of time, not with despair, but with a sense of purpose. We may not have control over how much time we have left, but we do have control over how we spend it. Instead of fearing the passage of time, we can choose to see it as a call to live more fully, with intention and gratitude. Every day is an opportunity to realign with what truly matters to us. Life may not unfold exactly as we imagined it, but there is always time to make meaningful choices, to create moments of joy, and to chase those long-held dreams. The past may be set in stone, but the future remains a canvas, waiting for us to paint. Number 2. Dealing with physical and mental decline. The physical aspect of aging is perhaps the most visible, and it's something that many people understandably struggle with. Our bodies simply don't work the way they used to. We might find ourselves more prone to injuries, needing longer recovery times, or noticing that our stamina isn't what it once was. This is a natural part of life, but it can still be difficult to accept. On a popular online forum, a user in their late 60s shared their experience of once being an avid runner, only to now find themselves barely able to jog without feeling winded. They expressed frustration and sadness over losing a hobby that once brought them so much joy. It's a sentiment shared by many who face the physical changes that come with age. Mental decline is another aspect of aging that many people fear. Forgetfulness, slower processing times, and concerns about conditions like Alzheimer's weigh heavily on people's minds. One common theme in these conversations is the fear of losing independence and the ability to enjoy life as fully as we once did. While these changes are undeniably challenging, it's important to shift our perspective, drawing on both Stoic philosophy and a mindset of adaptation. Stoicism teaches us to focus not on what is beyond our control, but on how we respond to life's inevitable challenges. Aging, while inevitable, doesn't have to mean the end of joy or fulfillment. For example, I've personally discovered new ways to stay active that are kinder to my aging body, like swimming and yoga. These activities allow me to remain physically engaged, but in ways that suit my current abilities. It's about adapting and finding joy in different forms, rather than fixating on what we've lost. Our bodies may change, but there's still so much we can do to stay active and mentally sharp. Instead of mourning the hobbies we can no longer do in the same way, we can explore new passions or modify old ones. This shift in perspective, moving from loss to possibility, can make all the difference. In embracing change, we open the door to new experiences and the chance to enjoy life in ways we never anticipated. Aging is not just about what we lose, it's about what we gain. Resilience, wisdom, and the opportunity to evolve. By focusing on what we can still do and adapting to our body's needs, we can continue to lead fulfilling, joyful lives, no matter our age. Number 3. Loneliness and isolation. As we age, our social circles often shrink. Friends move away, relationships evolve, and sometimes, despite our best efforts, people simply drift apart. For those who are single or whose children have grown and moved out, loneliness can become a significant challenge. It's a reality that many people in their 60s and 70s face, as shared in a thread on an online forum filled with heartfelt stories of isolation. Many spoke of how hard it is to make new friends at this stage of life, especially after losing lifelong companions. The pandemic only deepened this sense of loneliness, making it even harder for many to reconnect with the outside world. Social isolation can feel overwhelming, as though the vibrant connections of our earlier years are slipping away. However, this is where we must shift our mindset. Loneliness is indeed a heavy burden, but it's one we can lighten by actively seeking connections. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control the actions of others or the circumstances that life brings our way, but we can control our response to those circumstances. By focusing on what is within our power, we regain a sense of agency over our social lives. I've personally found that joining local community groups, volunteering, and even reconnecting with old friends have been transformative. It's not always easy to put yourself out there, especially as we get older, but it's essential to keep trying. Human connection doesn't disappear with age. It simply requires a little more effort to cultivate. In fact, this period of life can offer us opportunities to forge new relationships, often based on shared interests or common experiences. Whether it's through a book club, a fitness class, or a local volunteer organization, these connections can bring joy and fulfillment in ways we may not have anticipated. The key is to stay open to these possibilities and to remind ourselves that it's never too late to build meaningful relationships. As we navigate aging, it's important to remember that we are not meant to go through life alone. Loneliness may be a challenge, but it's not insurmountable. With intentional effort and a willingness to step out of our comfort zone, we can create new connections and lighten the burden of isolation. Number 4. Regrets and unfulfilled dreams. As we reflect on our lives, it's natural to think about the paths we didn't take, the opportunities we missed, or the dreams that remain unfulfilled. These reflections can sometimes lead to feelings of regret, a sense that we've wasted time or missed our chance. I recently came across a story shared by a man in his 70s who expressed deep regret about never learning to play the piano, something he had always wanted to do but kept putting off for decades. Now, despite the challenges of learning at an older age, he dedicates time each day to practicing. His story is a powerful reminder that while regret can be a painful emotion, it can also be a motivator. It pushes us to recognize that, even with the passage of time, there's still room to chase those dreams. In Stoic philosophy, regret is not something to dwell on. Instead, it's a tool to remind us that we still have the present moment to shape our future. We may not be able to go back and change the past, but we can control what we do now. The fact that we feel regret signals that something remains important to us, and that realization is a gift. It tells us there is still something worth pursuing, even if it looks different than we first imagined. I've learned that it's never too late to start something new, no matter where we are in life. Our past doesn't have to define our future. That unfulfilled dream may require a different approach or take longer than it would have when we were younger. But the pursuit itself is valuable. It adds meaning and purpose to our lives, no matter when we begin. Instead of viewing aging as a barrier, we can see it as an opportunity to re-engage with our passions and unfulfilled desires. Whether it's learning an instrument, taking up a new hobby, or rekindling an old interest, the act of starting is often more important than the outcome. The joy comes not only from achieving the goal, but from the process of learning and growing, even later in life. So while regret may initially feel like a weight, it's also a reminder that we still have time. Time to pursue our passions, time to embrace new challenges, and time to create a future that aligns with our deepest desires. It's never too late to change course and start anew. Number 5. The challenge of staying relevant. In a rapidly changing world, many older adults feel left behind. Technology evolves at a breakneck pace, societal norms shift, and what was once familiar can quickly become foreign. This sense of disconnect can leave some feeling irrelevant, especially when trying to relate to younger generations who are immersed in the digital age. I recently came across a forum post from a woman in her 50s who shared her experience of feeling out of touch with her teenage children. She struggled to understand their world of social media, online gaming, and digital communication. This sense of unfamiliarity made her feel like she was losing touch with her kids, as though they were living in a world she couldn't access. However, staying relevant isn't just about mastering every new gadget or trend. It's about maintaining curiosity. It's about staying open to learning, engaging, and understanding the evolving world around us. Stoic philosophy teaches us that change is inevitable, and while we cannot stop the progression of time, we can choose how we adapt to it. Rather than resisting these changes or feeling discouraged, we can embrace them as opportunities to grow. Personally, I've made it a point to learn new technologies and engage with younger people to better understand their world. I ask questions, even if I feel out of my depth at first, because that's how we bridge the generational gap. The goal isn't just to keep up for the sake of relevance, but to cultivate meaningful connections with those around us, regardless of age. Staying connected to the world, especially to younger generations, is a powerful way to maintain our sense of belonging. It's a reminder that even though the world may change, our ability to connect, learn, and grow remains timeless. So, while the digital age may seem daunting at first, it's also filled with possibilities. Possibilities to remain engaged, curious, and connected. In the end, relevance is not defined by how much we know, but by our willingness to keep learning. By staying curious and open to new experiences, we ensure that we're always part of the world, no matter how much it changes around us. Number 6. Finding purpose in later life. As careers wind down and children grow up, many people find themselves grappling with a new challenge, discovering a renewed sense of purpose. The roles that once defined us, parent, worker, caregiver, may no longer be central to our lives, leaving us to ask, what's next? In a popular online forum, a woman in her 60s shared her journey of finding purpose after retirement. For much of her life, she focused on her career and family, but when those roles faded into the background, she turned to art, something she had always loved but never had time for. This creative outlet gave her a renewed sense of identity and fulfillment, helping her see that purpose evolves and can be found in places we may have overlooked during the busyness of earlier stages of life. Finding purpose in later life often means rediscovering old passions or exploring new ones. It's an opportunity to engage with activities or interests that bring joy and meaning. For me, it's been about giving back. I've found tremendous purpose in mentoring younger people, sharing the experiences and lessons I've gained over the years, and dedicating time to causes that align with my values. The Stoic approach to life reminds us that purpose isn't about external achievements or status. but about how we live each day, how we use our time, skills, and energy to contribute to the greater good. It's also important to recognize that our value isn't tied to our productivity, especially as we age. We often feel like we need to be constantly doing to justify our worth, but true purpose is about connection. Connection to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. The wisdom we've accumulated, the love we've shared, and the knowledge we've gained are perhaps the most valuable things we can offer. Later life can be a time of profound growth and fulfillment. It's not about slowing down, but about shifting focus. Whether it's through artistic expression, mentoring, or community involvement, there are endless ways to redefine purpose as we move into this new chapter. Remember, purpose isn't something we lose as we age. It's something we get to continually rediscover and reshape, often with deeper understanding and gratitude. Number 7. Navigating identity shifts. As we age, the roles that once defined us, whether as professionals, parents, or caregivers, begin to change or fade away. This shift in identity can be deeply disorienting, leaving us questioning who we are without the titles and responsibilities that once gave our lives structure and meaning. A woman in her 60s shared her experience of feeling lost after retiring from a successful career. For decades, her job had been her identity, the core of how she defined herself. When it was gone, she found herself waking up each morning with no clear direction, unsure of how to fill her days or what her purpose was, without the framework her career once provided. I can relate. When I retired, I faced a similar sense of displacement. The structure of my professional life had been so ingrained in me that, without it, I felt adrift. But over time, I learned that this period of uncertainty was not the end of my story. It was an opportunity for rediscovery. Stoic philosophy teaches us that our identity should not be confined to external roles or titles. We are more than our jobs, more than our responsibilities. Retirement, or any significant life shift, is a chance to explore what truly matters beyond those external markers of success. So I began journaling. I used it as a tool to reflect on my values, my passions, and what had brought me joy over the years, beyond the narrow lens of a job title. This practice opened the door to hobbies I had set aside, like gardening and painting, which became sources of peace and fulfillment. I also reconnected with old friends and invested time in nurturing relationships I had neglected during my working years. This journey helped me build a new identity, one that wasn't tied to my career but to the person I had become over the years, someone shaped by experiences, wisdom, and passions that go far beyond the professional sphere. It's a reminder that our worth and purpose are not defined by a title, but by how we live, the connections we foster, and the personal growth we embrace. As you navigate this shift, remember that change can be unsettling, but it also opens the door to rediscovery. It's a time to reflect, to reconnect with passions and interests, and to redefine purpose on your own terms. It's about embracing who you are, not just what you did. Number 8. Caring for adult children or grandchildren. As parents, we often think our responsibilities wind down once our children reach adulthood. However, for many of us, the caregiving role continues in unexpected ways, whether it's supporting grown children through life's challenges, or even stepping in as primary caregivers for our grandchildren. This phase of life can bring immense joy, but it can also be a heavy burden as we balance our desire to help with the need to protect our own time and energy. A man in his late 60s shared his experience of moving in with his daughter to help care for his grandchildren. While he cherished the extra time with them, he also admitted feeling exhausted and at times overwhelmed by the demands of parenting at an age when he had envisioned slowing down. In retirement, he had imagined rest and relaxation, not changing diapers and chasing after toddlers. I can certainly relate. When my daughter went through a difficult divorce, I found myself stepping in to help with my young grandchildren. It has been an incredible blessing to be so involved in their lives, to witness their growth and share in their everyday moments. But, like the man in his 60s, I've also felt the physical and emotional toll of being a caregiver again. The joy is undeniable, but so is the exhaustion. This experience has taught me a few important lessons. One of the most critical has been the need for balance. As much as we love our children and grandchildren, we must also recognize the importance of setting boundaries. It's okay to say no when we need rest, to protect our own well-being amidst the demands of caregiving. Learning to prioritize self-care doesn't diminish the love we have for our families. Rather, it ensures that we have the energy and patience to continue giving without depleting ourselves. This balance is a delicate dance, but it's one that has taught me so much about love and patience, not just for others, but for myself. I've realized that to be truly present for my family, I need to make space for my own needs as well. There's strength in recognizing that we can't do it all, and that it's okay to ask for help or take a break when we need it. In the end, this stage of life is about both giving and receiving, offering support where we can, but also allowing ourselves the grace to step back and recharge. It's a journey that deepens our capacity for love while reminding us of the vital importance of self-care along the way. Number 9. Adjusting to retirement and financial changes. Retirement is often portrayed as a time of relaxation and leisure, but in reality, it can be a major adjustment, both emotionally and financially. The sudden shift from a steady paycheck to living on a fixed budget is a source of stress for many, and the loss of a structured daily routine can leave people feeling adrift, uncertain of how to fill their newfound free time. A man in his early 70s shared on an online forum how he struggled after retiring. He hadn't anticipated how challenging it would be to live on a pension compared to his previous salary. The freedom from work also left him with too much time on his hands, leading to feelings of boredom and a sense of purposelessness. I can relate to this experience. When I retired, I too faced challenges, not just financially, but emotionally as well. The financial adjustments were tough at first, but the emotional shift caught me off guard even more. Suddenly, my days were wide open, and I was left figuring out how to make them feel meaningful. Without the structure of work, it's easy to feel like you've lost your sense of purpose. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned is that retirement doesn't have to be about slowing down. It can be a time for new opportunities. I started volunteering at a local shelter, and it completely transformed how I viewed my time. Volunteering gave me a sense of fulfillment and provided the routine I needed to structure my days. It's a reminder that purpose isn't confined to a job title. We can find meaning in new roles, helping others, or pursuing long-lost interests. Financially, I had to learn to adapt as well. Living on a fixed income required me to budget more carefully. Downsizing my home, exploring hobbies that didn't require a big expense, and learning to enjoy simpler pleasures all helped me stretch my resources without sacrificing my quality of life. Retirement, for many, is an adjustment period, but it can also be a time of rediscovery. It's a chance to reframe our expectations, focus on what truly matters, and build a life that brings satisfaction without the pressures of work. By managing finances wisely and finding new ways to contribute or engage with the world, retirement can be a time of purpose and joy. Number 10. Coping with changing relationships. As we age, our relationships naturally evolve. Friendships that once felt unbreakable may fade, family dynamics can shift, and even romantic relationships may face new challenges. These changes can leave us feeling isolated or questioning the connections we once relied on. A woman in her 50s shared her experience of how, over the years, her circle of friends had dwindled. Some friends had moved away, others drifted apart due to life changes. And sadly, a few had passed away. She struggled to maintain these connections and was left with a deep sense of loneliness. I, too, have seen relationships change in my own life. Some of my oldest friends have moved on to different stages, and staying in touch has been challenging. But as I've reflected on these changes, I've realized that this is a natural part of aging. It's not about clinging to what was, but about embracing what can be. Rather than mourning the loss of old connections, I've shifted my focus to nurturing the relationships that remain and being open to forming new ones. I joined a local book club, where I met a wonderful group of people who share my interests. Through this experience, I've discovered that while relationships change, they can also grow and evolve in beautiful and unexpected ways. This phase of life teaches us that connections don't always fade. They can deepen, transform, or take on new forms. And while it's natural to feel a sense of loss as friendships change, it's important to remember that new opportunities for connection are always around the corner, waiting for us to reach out. Aging offers the chance to not only reflect on the relationships we've had, but to create new bonds that can enrich our lives in unexpected ways. Getting older is challenging, but it's also a privilege denied to many. It's a time of transition, reflection, and most importantly, growth. The hardest parts of aging often present the most valuable opportunities for learning and self-discovery. Yes, there are losses and hardships, but there are also joys and triumphs. We have the chance to look back on a life well lived, pass on our wisdom, and embrace the person we've become. Aging isn't the end of the journey. It's a new chapter, rich with possibilities and experiences waiting to be had. As you navigate the complexities of getting older, remember that you're not alone. There's a community of people who understand, who have walked this path, and who are ready to support you. Please feel free to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. By sharing our stories and supporting one another, we can transform the trials of aging into sources of strength and wisdom. Embrace this time with grace, resilience, and an open heart. After all, the best is yet to come. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Stoic Rise Up for more inspiring content. Thank you for watching and for being a part of this journey.